Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are Sisters of the South. Today is a bolo on a missing person, so we're going to just get started on the story. So here we go.
All right, guys. 4-year-old Marlena Childress was last seen in the front yard of her family home in Union City, Tennessee at approximately 3 p.m. on the afternoon of April 16, 1987. Marlena's mother, Pamela Bailey, stated that she heard car brakes, and when she went outside to check on Marlena, she was gone. The vehicle was described as an older model two-door red car with McCracken County, Kentucky license plates. Pam said she didn't get a good look at the driver, but Marlena's 7-year-old stepbrother and the owner of a store 2 blocks away told police they'd seen Marlena talking with the driver of the car shortly before she went missing. No one recognized the driver. On June 8th, the search for Marlena came to a halt when Pam confessed being responsible for her daughter's disappearance.
Really?
Pam claimed that she lost her temper and hit Marlena, causing her to hit her head on a table. Then she dumped Marlena's body into nearby Obion River.
What?
Even though a search of the river turned up with no trace of Marlena, Pam was charged with second-degree murder, which was later reduced to voluntary manslaughter. Pam soon recanted her confession, claiming she was coerced and that it took place after a hospital stay for exhaustion and was taking medication for depression.
Okay, please.
So,
I can't.
I know. According to police, Pam made several conflicting statements about Marlena's disappearance. At one point, she claimed that she sold her to pay off a drug debt. On another occasion, she claimed that she had been abducted by a family friend. However, no evidence has ever been found to support these claims. So no evidence about her murder, no evidence about her being taken. There's nothing.
Yeah, they've not even found her body.
No. The case went to a grand jury, but with no body and no further evidence other than Pam's recanted confession, they decided not to indict Pam for Marlena's murder. So later, Pam moves to Mayfield, Kentucky, and has a son named Casey. When Casey was 12 years old, on April 22, 2002, 6 days after the 15th anniversary of Marlena's disappearance, Pam told Casey she had a surprise for him and to be home from a friend's house by 7:30 p.m. Shortly after 8 p.m., Pam drove 3 miles to Arnett Cemetery and had Casey put a blue handkerchief over his eyes. Pam sat her blindfolded son by a cemetery marker with the inscription "Son" before she stabbed him in the neck and shoulder with a knife.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Casey was able to kick his mother and run to the nearest house. Thank God.
Oh my gosh.
Casey was released from the hospital the day after the stabbing and remained with his father. Pam, age 37, was arrested at a gas station in Nortonville, Kentucky, about 70 miles from their home in Mayfield. When Pam was arrested, she claims that she completely blacked out and had no memory of stabbing her son.
How convenient.
Of course. She was charged with attempted murder, but ultimately pleaded no contest to second-degree assault. She served a 10-year prison sentence at the Kentucky Correctional Institution for Women and has since been released. So what happened to Marlena? The little girl's disappearance remains a mystery, and the case has taken many unusual twists and turns in the years since her disappearance. 6 days after Marlena disappeared, she was reportedly seen at a hair salon in Memphis. She was with 2 unidentified women and a young boy. One of the women was in her 20s, while the other was in her 60s. The girl, believed to be Marlena, repeatedly cried and asked for her mother. The older woman called her by the name Marlena,
Okay.
which is not a normal name. I mean, it's a
Mm-mm.
rare name.
Yeah.
Marlena's grandfather investigated the case and came to suspect that a local waitress was involved. She had left town the day after Marlena vanished and returned a few days later. 2 employees from the salon identified her as the younger woman with Marlena. They also identified her son as the boy with Marlena.
Oh, wow.
However, investigators do not consider her a suspect. In fact, the girl was located and determined to not be Marlena.
Okay. Did they do any? I mean, I know
Well, and it
DNA. We
was
talk about DNA. This is,
exactly,
yeah.
it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
In the summer of 1987, Marlena was reportedly seen in Anniston, Alabama, with a family that harbored other people's children. One of the children told a social worker that she was Marlena. When the worker returned 2 days later, they were gone. 2 weeks later, they were located in Florida, but she was not with them.
Oh,
And what
man.
little girl is going to say her name's Marlena if her name is not Marlena?
Right. And they had probably given her another name to use, and she
Yes,
used her real name, and they're like, oh, shit, we got to get out of here.
that's right.
Oh,
So neighbors also reported seeing her with the family, but the sightings were never confirmed. So, guys, again, Marlena Childress was last seen on April 16th, 1987, in Union City, Tennessee. Marlena's date of birth is February 27th, 1983. She was 4 years old at the time of her disappearance, but would currently be 42 years old. At the time, Marlena was 4 feet tall, weighing about 38 pounds. It has been 38 years, but this is still an open case. If anyone has any information regarding Marlena's disappearance, please call the Obion County Sheriff's Department at 731 885 5832, case number 872591. So, what do you think?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure she's alive. And I understand that the name is unusual, and it's possible that her mom did give her away, but probably once the demise to her could have been the last sighting where she used her name and the people had to move to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They might have dumped her out on the side of the road or done something to her and got rid of her at that point, because
Right.
it sounds like everything dropped off after that with seeing sightings of Marlena.
Yes. It's just what happened to her. Did her mom sell her? Was that even
Yeah.
Marlena Childress? Was it
Yes.
another Marlena, which is
Yeah. And I'm sure there's other
unusual?
Marlenas.
Did her mother kill her? I mean, what happened?
Well,
What happened to this baby?
you know, if I go with my gut feeling, I automatically want to think her mother killed her.
Because she tried to kill her son.
Yes. And what a crazy, first of all of it's crazy, but what a crazy way to do it. And why wouldn't she have if she's already in that state of mind? So my gut tells me that her mother killed her.
And she blacks out.
Well, isn't that convenient? And I'm sure she was a drug addict from what, the story
Yeah.
is leading me to believe. And, how convenient it is for alcoholics and drug addicts to say, well, I just blacked out. And we just accept that as if that's an answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not acceptable. And the bad part is a grand jury is not going to accept anything if you only have just minor circumstantial evidence. Sometimes they'll accept it, but it has to be concrete, circumstantial, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
And the bad part is, obviously, she's not a very intelligent woman, and that she's gotten away with it for this long.
I know.
I don't think she'd get away with it in this time and era,
Yeah.
but back then. But still, like, I mean, she had to have dropped some crumbs somewhere that someone missed.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
My gut tells me Marlena is no longer on this
Yes.
earth with us.
I
That's just
agree.
my gut. But then, the caveat to that is other people hearing the name or seeing who they think is Marlena. But you also know in missing person cases, a lot of people will see someone that they swear it's the missing person. And when it's investigated, it's not. So I unfortunately, I just think she's no longer here on earth.
Yeah.
It's my gut feeling.
So, yeah, guys, if you could just share it. I mean, it would be great if they could just figure out what happened to this little girl.
Absolutely.
And, but yeah, until our next episode, please remember to see the good and stay
stay
imperfectly
imperfectly perfect.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.